Hey guys, once again, going second is completely ass. Once again. Unsurprisingly. Oh wait, I think I've... do I? No, it's fine. Anyway, so, as you guys might know, there are just no, like, super good going second options against Labrynth. What you can hope for is, like, a evenly matched. You can bluff evenly, I guess, if you want to try that, to maybe force out some interaction, but you'll get hand looped probably either way, and they'll suck, and you'll go, like, neg 2. So even if you play evenly matched, it might not be enough, unfortunately. But what we can do is we can think about what Labyrinth players do that's most disgusting and how we can deal with it. So first off, if we're going second, there's a chance we have to play against any or all of these. So skill drain goes in. In rivalry, I don't think we will see Tikaboo, so not as bad in that sense, I guess. Not likely to see Tikaboo because then they're locked into just one of their big ladies or whatever, and it actually kind of hurts them a bit. But on the other hand, you might be able to, if like your deck can play under Tikaboo, maybe Tikaboo is something you can play because this technically can contribute to outing the board a little bit, but not. It might not be good enough unless you're going first. So going second, it probably isn't good enough anyways. And there's already inherently a disadvantage if you play like spells or traps. So potentially we should maybe cut out all of them unless they're specifically for a combo and they're searched and not like a starter in your hand that you run like 3 of. Like just, for example, like something like triple tactics is not necessarily the play because they can pop that, and evenly matched in the same strain you don't really want to play evenly matched because it can be eradicated, but you have to because it's like so strong, right? So it's like a mixed bag with evenly. Like this is the best option, and they can also they have counterplay to this, and that's without like taking into account like solemn judgment. Every single time. Solemn Judgment. And speaking of which, like, if you type Judgment like this, the Judgment hand shows up. Spelling. Oh boy. Judgment with no E. Okay. Confusing. But whatever. Solemn Judgment. And this also counters, like, evenly matched. And red reboot, which is kind of... that kind of sucks, really. So nothing you can super do against that, I guess. And this same kind of deal. The odds of your opponent having Solemn Judgment is actually pretty damn high. So if you consider the fact that your opponent has like Extrav and that allows them to draw 2 as well. And then, for example, the odds of just raw opening a Solemn, and how it's actually never bad to have multiple Solemn in your hand. Like, not really that bad, honestly. Like, if you have 3 Solemn in your hand and then, like, 2 cards that are your starters, no big deal. Let's do the math real quick. So, let's see. The odds of opening a card, 3 of, opening just 1 of them. Let's see. That is a 33.76% chance. 33.76% chance, and then there's a chance of opening Extrav, which is about the same chance. So there's like a pretty high chance that you open either like a Solemn or an Extrav then. And if you dig 2 more, the odds increase by 11% that you would open like another Solemn. So if you run 3 Solemn, 3 Extrav, pretty damn good chance that you have Solemn in your hand at some point. It's not like guaranteed, but it's really damn high. And that's of course an unsearchable card. But anyway, because you have to deal with this, I guess. This actually makes it incredibly difficult. Like, Solemn Judgment is like an unplayable card. Well, like not unplayable, but like playing second going into Solemn is pretty damn impossible into like the Labrynth stuff, like goes in match, skill drain, rivalry, whatever. Well, unless your deck can play under all three or something wild, but whatever. Doubt. So, if you have to deal with Solemn Judgment, you can't normal summon or special summon a monster, because the special or normal summon will be negated, and then if you try to use a spell trap to remove the back row, that'll be negated as well. Or if there's like a really beneficial spell trap you're trying to activate, that's never going to resolve, so Solemn Judgment is gonna like really cuck you. It's arguably too damn strong. Well, assuming your opponent's going first anyway. If going second, it's probably not a big deal. Like if I were a Baron and I just use Baron's effect to destroy. Yeah, this doesn't really do anything. And then let's say they try to, I don't know, imperm my Baron, negate imperm as well, I guess. Or I can just ignore that, really. Do you? No, you don't. You want to pop that back row, probably. Well, whatever. So, simply going first is clearly the option if you can somehow go first. Matchup-wise, I don't think there's any particularly super insane matchup. Runic might be able to build enough like advantage that they don't lose, because Labrynth builds up so much advantage so fast, so by turn 3, you probably can't come back. It's pretty bad, honestly. Arguably, this is more annoying than Tearlament to an extent. I don't know, it's pretty close. Feeling a bit of a mixed bag here. So in terms of like monster removal, using Pancratops is not possible because both of the Labrynth boss monsters, for some reason, even though they can be special summoned directly from the deck for no cost, and they have like some random protection effects for different things, like can't be responded to. Yeah. Pank isn't good enough. So what can you do here? Like, conceptually, special summon Pank, and then you would use this as like a fucking MST. Pretty much. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? And I mean, MST and Pank can both be like solemned if necessary. So, not doing too hot there, and these floodgates, there's a good chance of them drawing into one of them if like all three are played, for example, with Extrav again. So, no, with probability, it's like probably somewhere around like an 80 to 90% chance, assuming your opponent has like, let's remove this. Let's do this. And then this. If your opponent is running like 3 Solemn like this and some floodgates like this, they're pretty much guaranteed almost. Well, they're not guaranteed, but it's pretty damn likely that they will have one of these things. So like one of these 3, or maybe they have one of these, I guess. Or if they open one of these, they have a pretty good chance of drawing into one of these, if that makes sense. And that's pretty obnoxious. And they have no chance of really bricking, because Labrynth is just not a deck that really bricks. Which is also annoying, because it has high-ass consistency, and it plays floodgates. Well, it can play floodgates, like, that's pretty annoying. And then, of course, they have Solemn, which is just protection against pretty much every single option you could try against them, right? Like, at least with Tearlaments, you still had Dimension Shifter. Like, you could Dimension Shifter, right? But like, going second against Labrynth, you have exactly nothing. There's nothing you have that's good going second. Well, you do have, like, relatively good stuff with, like, evenly matched and whatnot, right? But they have options for your options, which essentially leaves you with no options, right? So, going second. I think right now, this is the worst possible time to play, like, a going second deck almost. It's, like, pretty horrendous. Pretty damn awful. Nothing I can really consider doing here. Yeah. Considering they have, like, 1, 2, and then, like, 3, 4, essentially, like, cards that can search. And if you want to include Lady Lab can technically do some searching as well. So, pretty annoying there as well. And this searches, like, any spell trap, and sometimes, like, Labrynth monsters. Generically. Not super easy to deal with, not something that you can do anything about. And the way they search is also annoying with these guys setting cards, making it so that literally there is not a single hand trap that's effective against, like, Chandraglier. As it happens, these work under Shifter as well, but they won't come back. That's the only change that happens, I guess. Probably not enough to do what you want to do against them. Like, they're not unaffected by Shifter. It weakens their, like, turn 3, but you still have to play through, like, turn 2 as a going second player, so probably not good enough. And, I mean, assuming you do just use Shifter off rip, they can chain to your Shifter as well, so that they will get their, like, Stovey Torpy or their Chandraglier or Kuplok or whatever into the graveyard really fast. So that's pretty annoying as well. Not much you can do about that. So I'm stuck here trying to think about options, and every single time I try, it's just non-existent. Because, like, assuming the meta shifts, for example, and there is some kind of monster strategy, right? That's, like, pretty good against, like, let's say it's, like, an all-monster strategy, so Eradicator Epidemic Virus isn't, like, an issue anymore for, like, your list. They can pivot to different viruses, like, for example, Crush Card, I guess, for example. Wait, Crush Card's not one of the good ones. Full Force Virus, and that can just rip your monsters from your hand, as well as, like, Deck Devastation. So, whatever the case, all of these make it pretty damn hard for you to do anything in some way, shape, or form, and the fact that Labrynth, of course, can play any of these virus cards, if they're, like, ever relevant, you'll have to, like, somewhat consider needing to deal with these, like, further along the road, I guess. Further down the road? Yeah, whatever. I don't know what that expression is anymore. So, nothing you can super do against Labrynth. It's just the cards for going second against it don't really exist in the same way that it does for, like, certain combo decks, like Dark Ruler no more, Nibiru, Forbidden Droplet. They don't exist. And they're not super affected by Maxi. They do special summon a bit, but, like, it's not relevant enough. Like, even if they try to special summon as much as they can, it's, like, about 6 at most. And that's, like, if they're, like, linking off their monsters and then linking off that link monster, that might, like, be around 6. So, aside from that, I think they only special summon, like, twice. Realistically, like, 2 or 3 times. I don't really think they special more than that. Because, for example, with, Labrynth, whatchamacallit? Labrynth, Kuklok, this has the option to special summon or add to hand for some reason. So they can just choose to not give you a draw, you know? So, nothing you can really super do against this. like, all we can realistically do is, like, wait for a ban list at this point. Or we can wait for, like, Red Reboot, you know, to be put at 3. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, you know? Because Solemn Judgment is literally impossible for you to play against. And Red Reboot, like, because, well, this is weird to say, but, like, let's say, my opponent activates, like, I don't know, they try to activate Welcome Labrynth, and then you Red Reboot it on the first turn for whatever reason. They still keep that, like, trap. So, like, in this case, like, Welcome, that they activated with Ku Klux on the first turn, I guess. You can Red Reboot that, but they'll keep Welcome, and then they'll also get, like, another free trap, and then they can set whatever traps they want this turn, right? So nothing really changes, except you gave them, like, +1 trap that they get to choose from their deck, so going, like, second, using it on the first turn, Red Reboot, not something you can really do, but that's, like, the most interactive thing you can probably do. Of course, like, you just hope they have no Red Reboot and try to, or not Red Reboot. Well, actually, wait, Red Reboot does counter Red Reboot. I didn't even consider that yet. Actually, because this is pretty... Oh, wait. Yeah. Because, Labrynth is probably going to be played so much, or it is seeing play right now, even, that you might want to run Red Reboot for the mirror. So you might Red Reboot, Red Reboot. So Red Reboot becomes, like, even worse. And that also, like, applies to evenly, because you can actually Red Reboot evenly matched. Oh my god, it gets worse. Like, it's such a mess, dude. And this is, like, best of 1 format? This is awful, dude. What the hell am I supposed to do here? I guess, like, all I can do is try to hope I don't get floodgated at this point, and then, I guess, try to out-resource. Like, for example, like, Danger Dark World, and I just have, mostly monster deck, and I can try to out-resource my opponent here. Yeah, that's about all I can come up with, honestly. Well, yeah. The issue, of course, being that certain viruses might, like, obliterate certain hands, but I guess we just have to open crazy, otherwise there's, like, nothing we can do. Also, why are those cards searching, or showing up in Dark World? Yursu? What? Okay then, I guess. Whatever. Gruffa. Related cards. Okay. So honestly, what I'm saying is they deserve to be Sylvad. But aside from that, getting back on track. If we did have the other future monster, that would help a bit. I guess. Maybe that comes in the next selection pack. So I guess waiting on that. As of recording this video, it's like 2 more weeks or whatever till the next selection pack. So hopefully we get the next piece of Dark World support that'll help us out a good bit. Aside from that, 0 defense, 1,500 attack. I mean, you don't play this one, so not a big deal. 1,000 attack. Yeah, it kind of fluctuates, and then, like, the dangers as well. And all of your things, you're always doing draws, actually, now that I think about it. You don't really do searches to get your cards, aside from, like, maybe a rainbow or something. So if you draw into rainbow, it would pop rainbow. Go into the graveyard. I mean, rainbow stat line is too high for that, actually. So if I draw into, like, Genta, and it'll pop, like, every Genta I draw. Or, like, Snow, for example. Oh god. That sucks. Damn. Pretty hard to get your monsters into your hand in that way, then. Didn't even consider that. Maybe this isn't necessarily the play for, like, in general, like, well, actually, in general, it might be the play, but not for later if you get hit by, like, certain virus cards are pretty nasty, like the defense one will stop you from ever getting Snow in your hand pretty much. Unless you do some funny stuff with, like, McCraker, I guess. So that's doomed, and Dark World Dealings is not something you should really play anymore, but you should still be running like 3 copies of Gate, so hopefully you don't open too many of those and those don't all get popped out your hand in a really disgusting way. Genta does a search, so it should be okay, I guess. So I guess going first, you'll have to really be focusing on that, and going second, there is no play. So, at this stage, what I can probably recommend for later is what will be the best play for if you're playing decks in general is you honestly might want to give up on evenly matched. I don't know. It kind of depends on what happens between now and then, but you might want to just straight up give up on running any of those cards, I guess. Solemn is pretty nasty though, not a whole lot we can do against Solemn Judgment. As it happens, there are only a few monsters with summons that can't be, negated. But what can't be negated, summon-wise, is a summon off of, Branded Fusion, for example. But I mean, Branded Fusion is pretty good, maybe. So, what I'm considering here is that if Solemn Judgment on Branded Fusion activates second Branded Fusion and that can resolve, but there's also, when you would special summon a monster, that doesn't work against, spells that, fusion summon. So, a polymerization can still be negated, but the monster, when you summon it after poly in the near chain, you can't solemn that, if that makes sense. Which is something worth considering, I guess. And this is, of course, activate, and then this is negate activation, so you can activate multiple Branded Fusions, although Branded Fusion is now currently at 2, so it's harder, slightly, to get multiple copies of Branded Fusion in your hand. But I mean, not really, Spriggan's Kit, you have, a Luber, Branded Opening, whatever, you still have ways to get, Branded Fusion into your hand. Whatever, I guess. Why do I have another copy of that? Huh. What? Did it just not work? Oh, did I hit cancel? Oh, I am dumb. Alright, whatever. So, that's just not super useful to do. But, just for example, Thunder Dragon Colossus actually should shut down, for example, Sprite, and this actually heavily affects Tearlament even. But this will only stop one of their searches in Labrynth. This wouldn't be super good against them either. And they can actually big welcome this back. Big welcome Graveyard effect back to your Colossus. So that they can get their search back if they really want to. So that sucks. And of course, there's this one gimmicky thing, I guess, that kind of sucks about Labrynth. Just a small, tiny thing. Lady Lab. If you, chain something, this can miss timing, to their trap. But, if you have a monster effect that you want to do that with, lovely Labrynth. So you can't make it miss timing. Unless you can activate, Imperm or something. Which would trigger it anyways. Making the whole thing kind of, obsolete, kind of pointless. Yeah, that's an annoying combination, you know? So there's, no, super obvious weaknesses to exploit, in this deck going second into it, kind of crazy, now that I think about it. Nothing you can really do at all. Troublesome. If they red reboot you, though, is there a trap that you can use that's particularly nasty? I mean, even if they, if you have to force them to remove it, would that be that bad? I guess, would evenly matched be the option? Like, it might not be, because they can technically, they know 100% certainty which card you set is evenly, so they can just pop that off the field. Or they can just Eradicator Epidemic called Trap, and then you're done. So no, that's not really the play, because you have to activate evenly in battle phase. So if there was like a trap that popped a bunch of like spell traps, that like might help a little bit, but whatever. Speaking of which, red reboot. Is this just any trap? Yes. This is any trap. So this includes Solemn Judgment, huh? Just for example, so counter traps, and maybe even continuous traps then, huh? It didn't specify, did it? So if you red reboot, you can give your opponent a chance to search skill drain as well. This is not doing a lot of good things for my mental state here. Well. I guess maybe the play would be to... Well, I was going to think for a second, but... Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like, theoretically, the best kind of thing you might want to do is just to play a very monster-heavy strategy that doesn't use the, like, extra deck, for the most part, aside from maybe link monsters, because the dimensional barrier. So, Ritual is a no-go, Fusion, Synchro, XYZ Pendulum, kind of a no-go. If your opponent, like, opens, like, decently well, they can, like, Eradicator you, see your hand, oh, looks like you're playing Branded, and then they call, Spell, no more Branded Fusion, simply. I guess, right? They can rip Branded Fusion out of your hand. It's a normal speed spell, right? And they'll know when to do that or not, whatever. They have information on your hand, right? Well, actually, even if they call Spell and you have like a looper to add, for example, they can just go ahead and activate Dimensional Barrier from the deck, more or less, via searching it, you know? So, that's pretty damn rough. And then like Coup Clock, which they probably have, because of course they do. Apparently, you know, the Coup Clock stuff with like the Eradicator is like just a 2-card combo, so that essentially makes Dimensional Barrier also a 2-card combo. So you have to deal with this as well. And not much you can do about this. Like, even if they're at 1 copy, still searchable, right? Absolutely horrendous. Like, do we just ban Lovely or something? Like, do we ban Big Welcome? But they made them URs, so they're probably not gonna, right? These cards are particularly disgusting, actually. Damn. Well, focusing up a bit more. Let's see. What can we do here? So I guess the play would be to have something similar to like Danger Dark World, in the sense that you're playing mostly monsters in the main, but it has to be mostly in the main deck, or like a link-based strategy, or something like that. I guess that might be the play. But I mean, you can still get floodgated by like A, B, and C over here, you know? So that sucks, but I guess you just have to play through it, no real choice. And you might get hit by the occasional Solemn as well, and then you have to be able to play through their interruption. So I guess you'd have to play through, like, brute force through their, like, interruption, and then somehow stop them from getting back their resources, like Big Welcome and stuff. Tall order. I'm not quite in the mental state to do this today, so maybe in the future, if you guys really insist. Well, let me know, I guess. So, Dimensional Fissure, like, macro-type effects, probably not gonna. If Kashtira has a good matchup against them, for some reason, I'd like to play Kashtira then, maybe. But, I mean, I doubt that, because Dimensional Barrier declare XYZ, right? Yeah. Sounds like a no bueno. We'll be plagued by, like, Labrynth for a while. I don't know what they can hit in Labrynth, because basically everything needs to be hit, really, because of how the deck is, and how they can, like, search everything. If they at least hit some stuff, it'll lower the consistency a little bit. I mean, you guys see what Flu looks like? This is still playable, you know what I'm saying? And Flu is not nearly as bad as Labrynth, somehow. Somehow. They do have a searchable floodgate in the same way, but their floodgate doesn't linger, so... I guess there's that. Well, nothing we can really do about this, I guess. Like, even their counters are not strong enough, simply. Like, without even taking into account Solemn, they'll probably play, like, Red Reboot, or, like, the Mirror and stuff as well, right? So this really degenerates pretty fast into a pretty disgusting, like, situation. Yeah, alright, hey, Labrynth, I haven't even played against it, like... Well, actually, wait, I have played against it a lot. It was mostly during the event, so... It was a weaker version, technically, too, to an extent. Not really looking forward to playing on ladder. Haven't really been playing on ladder since Labrynth came out, because I just haven't been feeling it, I guess. But, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.